This update is going to change mining forever. Yesterday, the admins opened up the alpha server to test a new mining update that they're planning to bring to the main server. Yes, I did just say new mining update. Again. This update is questionable to say the least, and from the looks of it, traditional ways to make money, such as insta mining gold in the mines of Dwarven, and even magma fields mining as a whole, are either significantly different or just outright impossible now. In this video, I'll cover all of the changes, ranging from new stats, massive nerfs, and potential upsides from this update, which includes the very cool Nucleus RNG meter. So stick around and be sure to like and subscribe if you find this useful or fun to watch. So let's start with the patch notes. This thread here is titled Some Mining Changes, which I'd say is probably a bit of an understatement. Yeah, that's all the changes. I'm not going to read through the entire thing because it's a bit overwhelming and it's kind of hard to follow when the screen is just white. So I have also hopped onto the alpha server so we can actually see these changes live. First thing I want to talk about is the new RNG meter. This is probably the most positive thing from this update, and it means everybody can get a Dwarven's alloy guaranteed now. As you can see, it takes 1 million XP, but don't worry because each run gives 1000 XP. So it's 1000 runs for a guaranteed alloy, which is so much better than the old dynamic drop system. The other drops are also here. For example, you can get a quick claw in 450 runs, and so on. So if you type /RNG on the game, you can see now that there's a whole new tab just for the Nucleus. So yeah, here it is in the game. Pretty good stuff here. I'm unsure if the chance goes up after you complete more runs, just like it does with like a handle or something, because towards the end of the RNG meter for like a Necron's handle or something, the chance is like tripled. So I don't know if it's the same for a Dwarven's alloy or not, but let's hope it is. That would make it like a 1 in 300 chance towards the end. Okay, let's talk about the most confusing part, which is probably the new stats. There's a new stat called mining spread, which is your chance to mine an additional non-gemstone block. So if you take a look at efficient miner, you can see it's changed to now mining spread. So it works the exact same way as the old system, where if you get 100 mining spread, you break another block. I'm not sure if anyone will remember this, since this was like probably 3 years ago now, maybe even 4. But does anyone remember when the fortune update came out? I mean these fortunes right here. Because before it was just listed as a % chance to get double drops, and when the fortune update came out, everyone freaked out. It was like, oh, this is confusing, this is hard to understand. I feel like it's going to be the same for this. This new mining spread feature is so much better, and it works with other things too. For example, gemstone spread. It works just like mining spread but is exclusive to gemstones. This stat is compatible with pristine. This is also an extremely good change, and it means you can break more than one gemstone block and still get pristine for it. There's also 4 new sub fortunes, and those are ore fortune, block fortune, Dwarven metal fortune, and gemstone fortune. This is actually super easy to understand. It just needs a little bit of breaking down. So to start, each of these fortunes is just on top of your main mining fortunes, so it doesn't override what you've already got in mining fortune. So here are the things that are affected by ore fortune. As you can guess, it's just ores. Block fortune includes some cool things such as mycelium, red sand, regular sand, ice, even hardstone now. And I'm pretty sure this means that these blocks are now affected by mining fortune. So let's test that. In my sack, I have 16595 mycelium. And if I just break 1, I gained 11 from that. So yeah, these blocks are now affected by mining fortune. This is insane. And it will make the prices fall, but it's worth it. Blocks like mycelium are used for really important recipes like Kudra keys, and getting 2 stacks of it for like an infernal key was previously so annoying. So this change is absolutely wonderful. My hardstone before the test is 331, and after is 346. So hardstone is also affected by mining fortune. That is just, I don't even know how to explain this. This is really annoying for me because I actually recently spent hours grinding an efficiency 10 diamond pickaxe. As you can see right here, it took me so long, but it's fine because at least everyone else can kind of get that quicker now. Hardstone mining is pretty much free now. Before I go any further with anything else, let's talk about the Heart of the Mountain tree, because this is so confusing. To start, they've moved around a lot of things. For example, Mole is now in tier 4 instead of tier 6. Efficient Miner is in tier 3 instead of tier 4, and so on. I'd recommend coming on and just checking yourself, or just reading the patch notes. As you can see here, the RNG meter is in the Heart of the Mountain menu, so it's really easy to access. There are so many new or changed perks. For example, Old School grants 5 ore fortune. They've also renamed some stuff, for example, Gem Lover, and there's a new fishing perk in the Hot M tree now called Subterranean Fisher. Grants 5.5 fishing speed and 1.1 sea creature chance when in the Crystal Hollows and Glacier Tunnels. This is cool, and it will help with worm fishing a lot. We've also got Block Fortune and Heat Resistance, which is a good one. But yeah, just general changes here. Most of these stuff's just been renamed or moved around, and going through it and just giving it a good look should help you clear the air there. Now, it's not all good because there are some nerfs. For example, this used to be Mining Fortune 2, and it used to grant you 5 Mining Fortune per tier. Now it's only 3. And the first one, Mining Fortune, is only 2 per, and it used to be 5. Mining Speed also got a nerf, but it's not the end of the world because it has been compensated in other parts of the game. For example, if I just take a look at my drill here. So yeah, there are nerfs, but it's not going to be the end of the world. Mining is going to change significantly, and I'll talk about more stuff in a minute, but it's not going to kill the entire skill. If you're a non-Iron Man player, there's no reason to complain because new avenues for money making have just opened. For example, mycelium and red sand, and even hardstone. But Iron Man players, you should be worrying a little bit more because, as I'm about to talk about, because magma fields mining has just changed a lot. If we take a look here at Bow, the perks look a little bit different. They went ahead and removed Made of Lava and the heat immunity perk, and instead added Furnace, Dispersion, and Chimney. They also added 150 heat resistance and 100 mining fortune as just a base stat. So yeah, it's not looking good for Bow. But while I'm in the magma fields, let's talk about heat quickly. The current system is you gain 1 heat per second while in the magma fields, and the new system is you only gain 0.1. So in a best case scenario, you can survive for at least 15 minutes in the magma fields without taking damage. But on top of that, heat resistance has been added to almost everything. For example, Divan Armor gives you 40 as a full set, and the Bow Pet gives you 150 as its stat at level 100. Like, it's not the end of the world. You can survive in the magma fields for probably about half an hour without taking damage. Anyway, let's continue talking about these new sub-fortunes because I kind of got distracted. There's Dwarven Metal Fortune, which is just these here. And there's also Gemstone Fortune, which, well, yeah, it's pretty obvious. But like I was saying earlier, the new sub-fortunes don't override your main fortune and it just kind of adds on to it. Just like how farming does. For example, with farming, when you're farming a certain crop, you have that crop fortune. So like potato fortune or netherwort fortune. It's just basically the same as that. Going back to the Heart of the Mountain tree, they've changed the cost of perks. Tiers 1 to 3 cost mithril powder, and now tiers 4 to 7 cost gemstone powder, and then 8 to 10 cost glacier powder. Another massive nerf has happened as well to the mining speed boost perk. It now only grants 200% mining speed for 20 seconds. And yeah, that does mean you can no longer insta-mine anything, including obsidian. So this update isn't all fun and games like I've been making out. There are some pretty catastrophic changes. What I'm going to say now is if you're an Iron Man player and you need obsidian for example, a Terminator or Atom Split Katana, do that now while you still can. That's if you have a blue cheese goblin omelet, of course. Because after this change, you're not going to be able to insta-mine. They've also changed the Golden Dragon Pet Shining Scales perk. It now caps out at 100 million instead of 1 billion, which is so useful. It means you don't have to spend so long mining gold. So a bit of compensation for the fact you're not going to be able to insta-mine gold. So that's always good. So once again, if you have a blue cheese goblin omelet and you don't have 100 million gold collection, get that. Oh, a thing I forgot to mention is they added a new area in the Dwarven mines. You can find it by coming from Gwendolyn and just going here, and then heading towards the king and just dropping down. This area hosts Dwarven ores, also known as pure ores now. And this is a great way to get all of these ores. And yes, that includes iron, thank God. Previously, iron was so annoying to get, but yeah, you can just get it here now. The new stat mining spread is a confusing one, and it seems to be a little bit bugged on the alpha right now, I think. For example, it works here on mithril, like it always has, but coming around to this iron, it doesn't seem to work at all. It works here. It also does not work on this lapis up here. So yeah, I don't know if this is bugged or it's supposed to be this way, but yeah, that's a feature. Also another feature, mining spread now works on cobblestone, which it previously didn't. The best way to mine cobblestone used to be with mineral armor, of which now just gives you mining spread too. So if you wear a full set of mineral armor and have efficient miner at max, you can mine crazy amounts of cobblestone. Like, I mean, look at this. It's just 3 lines of bedrock. On top of that, cobblestone is now affected by mining fortune as well. As you can see right here, I have 34,196. If I break just one block, it goes up by the amount of fortune I have, which is basically nothing. I have my armor off too. But yeah, it is now affected by mining fortune. So like, there's like so many buffs to this. Like, you could probably make a lot of money just for mining cobblestone. I'll do a quick money per hour test. Oh my God. That took 40 seconds. 40 seconds and I gained 60,000 enchanted cobble, which is also 385 enchanted cobble, which works out to be 18 mil an hour right now, just from mining cobblestone here. Wow. And I've probably not got much mining fortune. Like, there's a lot of new stuff that I haven't even covered. But yeah, 18 mil an hour from cobblestone. See, I told you there were upsides. I'm back in the Crimson Isle here, and you're not going to believe this. This is huge. This is probably even more huge than the cobblestone. Look at this. And remember, each block of mycelium is also getting counted for my fortune too. This is probably going to make even more money per hour. I'm going to check. So I've emptied my sacks, so I've got no mycelium. I'm going to just mine for 1 minute and see how much I get. I don't know the best way to do this, so I'm just going to like run around. Honestly, no idea what the best way is. Okay, and that's 1 minute up. Let's see how much I got. 21,000. Oh my god. That's 960k apparently. In 1 minute. Without even doing the calculations, that's 60 mil an hour. What? Ow. I will just say one thing. Prices are going to fall. So it's not going to be 60 mil an hour when this releases to the main server. But it's still going to be probably a lot. And it might even be more than magma fields mining. But yeah, still a crazy money making method. The next thing I want to talk about is the new forge things. So for starters, they've added 2 extra slots. So now there's 7. And then if you click on one of these slots, they've changed the interface. It's kind of confusing, but it's way more organized than it was. So you have refining, which is just refined items. Forging, which is all of this stuff here. The fuel canister used to be the fuel tank. They just renamed it. Also, they changed umber and tungsten plates back to their collection level 9, which it used to be when it released, but then they changed it. So they've changed it back. Not sure why, but I apparently don't have those collections unlocked. Yes, you can call me bad. There's tools, which is just all the drills and chisels. There's a new topaz rod, which is... I'm not sure. I'm not a fishing guy. It might be better, it might not. There's gear, which is equipment, armor, and talismans, and some other stuff like the Dwarven's powder coating, gemstone chambers. Reforged stones, which there's a lot of new ones. These reforged stones don't actually have their description of what they do, but as far as I'm aware, the amber material is the best in slot for mining speed, and I'm going to assume the gleaming crystal is probably the best overall stone for fortune and speed, considering it is the most expensive. Moving on, let's talk about the drill parts. There's a new one called Starfall Seasoning, which grants 25 mining speed and 10 mining fortune, and it's doubled when within 20 blocks of a fallen star. This is just terrible. The omelets got changed, and they require 96 eggs instead of 99. And they also all require a goblin omelet, which just comes from this right here. All of the fuel tanks and drill engines got changed too. The drill engines got buffed to their speed, and the fuel tanks got pickaxe ability cooldowns. However, the recipes did change too. I'm not going to go over each recipe because this video would be like an hour long, but basically they seem harder. For example, the amber polished drill engine requires 64 plasma now, and the plasma chance is the exact same. So Iron Man players are going to have one hell of a time to get this. If you want to check any of the recipes, I'd recommend using the patch notes, which I'll link in the description. While you're in the description, you can join my Discord if you like. I host giveaways there and I'm active. Anyway, let's talk about new items. So let's start with the precursor apparatus, which is required for a lot of these recipes. So the precursor apparatus can be given to Professor Robot to complete the Sapphire Crystal quest. So instead of having to give him all 6 parts, you can just give him this. And it is crafted with all 6 parts. So this does just speed up Crystal Nucleus runs a little bit and makes it so much easier to manage your inventory. But yeah, it's crafted with all 6 robot parts. So any recipe, that's just how you get it. Moving on, let's talk about the pets in more detail. Most pets received a mining speed or fortune buff. So obviously we've covered Bao. Rest in peace. I find this funny. The designer's note says the Bao pet was never really intended to be a mining pet. Okay, whatever you say, Hypixel. Okay, the goblin pet. So when this came out, this was terrible, and I don't think it had any use, but it actually seems to be pretty good now. So at level 1, it gives you 0.07 magic find and 1 ore fortune, which of course at level 100 will be 7 magic find and 100 fortune. And the other stats include grunt work, which gains 2.5 mining speed at level 1, and fetid thief, which gains 2 mining spread while in the mines of the van at level 1. So at level 100, this pet's pretty good. And in the admin's words, is apparently intended to be the new mines of the van pet, which was originally the Bao, but now they want it to be the goblin. So they kill gold mining, but then try and recover from it? I don't really get it. The mithril golem pet also got a little change. Just general stuff to make it a little bit better. The mole pet got a huge change and is actually a lot better than it was. So it gives 150 mining speed as a base stat, and everything else is the same besides the new perk magnetic nose. And considering the new change with the precursor apparatus, you don't need as many robot parts for the forge recipes. Oh sorry, let me rephrase that. You don't need as many of one part. So yeah, the changes are great overall. The mole perk gives you more drops, and the forge recipes don't require one specific robot part. Scather pet got a change, so the mining fortune is now base stat. Burrowing scales of rarity, and wormhole gives mining spread on hardstone. Silverfish got some buffs, but I'm not going to cover them too much. The snail pet also got a massive change. The perks scale with rarity now. For example, slow and steady will get better as the rarity increases, and slimy reach also got added. The amount of mining spread you can get with everything combined is so much. Like 1,000 mining spread, probably even more. Yeah, my mining spread is so high, but it's capped by a 3x3 area, which is so annoying. I'm in the mines of the van now, and it seems that this is still really good for money. Like, sure, we're not in the magma fields, but like, I'm still getting an inventory full of gold every time I mine, almost. Like, look how many blocks I'm breaking per with this new mining spread. I'm going to do a quick money test and see how much I make per hour. Okay, I did 4 minutes of gold mining. So see how much that made me. 2.4 thousand enchanted gold. All right, let's convert it into gold blocks. So for Iron Man, I made 1.57 mil in 4 minutes. Times by 15 for an hour is 23 mil an hour. So despite all the nerfs and changes, it still makes 23 mil an hour. Not the worst. Going back to the patch notes here, there's mining tool reworks. All of this stuff is basically just early game tools getting buffs. For example, mining fortune, mining speed, and so on. Early game armor's also got a buff. For example, lapis armor now gives speed and fortune. Other stuff includes some talismans getting buffed. The pristine enchant went from 1 to 0.5, and there's a whole bunch of new items here. A lot of them being reforged stones, and there's also these Dwarven O's. The Dwarven O's are just all of the different types of fortune. So there's an ore fortune one, a Dwarven metal fortune one, a gemstone fortune one, and a block fortune one. And the first 5 times you consume each one, it gives you 2 of that specific fortune. And on top of that, it gives you 30 fortune for an hour. Ore Oats is earned from Dwarven events. Block Bran is dropped from Scathers. Gemstone Grahams is dropped from a crystal nucleus, and metallic minis is dropped from tungsten and umber corpses. Bingo got a change, so to compensate for the crystal hollows now being hot M4 instead of 3, hot M XP gain is increased to 250%. And also, I forgot to mention earlier, the crystal nucleus changed. I believe now you have to kill Bao in order to get the crystal. You can't just click it while he's respawning. And also, you have to give King Yolkar 3 eggs every time you collect the amber crystal. So that means to get a guaranteed alloy, you need 3,000 eggs on Iron Man. So yeah, that's something. So I'd say that's about it for the changes. I've definitely missed some stuff, but everything is on the patch notes, so just go check yourself. But there's one more thing I want to do in this video, and I think it's what everyone is actually wondering. Can I still make money from mining gemstones? So I'm going to go find out. Oh, this is going to make no money. Yo, what's everyone doing here? All right, fellas, you waiting for Bao? The thing is, they said they were going to compensate for the nerfs to fortune and speed, but they just haven't. Okay, I found a little spot to mine. I'm going to mine up these rubies and see how long it takes, and then calculate my hourly rates. Okay, it's been 2 minutes, so I've mined for 2 minutes straight. So let's see how many gemstones I made. 223k. I've got no idea if that's good or bad. Like, actually no idea. So let's find out by compacting everything. Okay, 34 fine. So that's 670k times 30 is 20 mil an hour. Okay, so I was previously making 30 mil an hour, now only 20? Where's the compensation? Where? Am I missing something, or is there just no compensation for that? Clearly the admins see something that we don't. I mean, it is only alpha, remember. Things will change, but for now, it seems like a nerf. On the bright side, a lot of other avenues have opened up for mining. For example, the mining spread is really cool on everything, like mycelium, red sand, hardstone. Like, look how much hardstone I'm breaking. This is so much more than before. And remember, all of this hardstone counts toward... You know what, actually, instead of... I'm gonna do a money test for hardstone, because this seems like a lot. There's no way this won't give me a lot of money. Okay, I've emptied out my sack. I'm gonna do a little money test. I think my drill's gonna run out of fuel, but we'll see. I am breaking so much hardstone right now. This is so much more than before. Okay, it's been 2 minutes once again. So let's see how much I made. In just 2 minutes, I made 250 watts. 258 enchanted hardstone in 2 minutes. That's 800k. So 24 mil an hour from hardstone. If you combine that with Scather mining, you can be making a lot of money. So I think I've pretty much covered everything there is to know about this new update. Well, I say that, but I definitely forgot some stuff, or I've just missed stuff out because it's not too important. However, like I said, if you want to read the patch notes yourself, you can just click them in the description. I would recommend doing that yourself, just so you can get a better understanding of this update. But it's honestly not all bad. However, there are some very bad parts to it. This update just does not favor Iron Man players at all. It's kind of a big FU to Iron Mans. I don't know how we're going to make money anymore. But yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching.